Hey everybody, I'm Sam, here with Caleb and the Nintendo Entertainment System. This Nintendo Entertainment System is apparently not good enough anymore because now there is a $500 Nintendo Entertainment System on the market. Caleb here is thinking about buying one.
Yeah, so, I mean, we had an article a few months ago about this thing. It's called the Analogue NT. Basically, the idea is they wanted to create a system that could play Nintendo and Famicom games at the best possible quality on either modern HD TVs, or if you're really hardcore, you could hook it up directly via RGB to like an old RGB monitor.
Yeah, the point of all this is that if you hooked up this old buddy to a TV from the 1980s or even the 90s, it looks great still. It looks vibrant colors. It just like, you know, everything looks right. It's curved just right. It's blurred just right. But if you hook it up to a contemporary TV, it looks terrible. And that's why sometimes even when you emulate games, they don't even look that good. But this thing is capable of producing a really nice video game look, a great signal. It's just you got to coax it out.
Well, yeah, it's fascinating is even the original Nintendo doesn't have RGB output. The composite output or even the RF output on the original Nintendo, sometimes there's a lot of noise in the signal, and it could be even sharper, even on older TVs. Like if you look at the RGB signal side by side with an old composite signal or RF signal, it's so much cleaner, so much crisper. Kind of more like that old arcade look.
Yeah, so let me translate that for you. Even the NES back then didn't even look that good, right? And the RGB signal is like this amazing raw version of that signal that you can't just plug into a television. You can't just output RGB and put it in a television. You need to actually have a box that does the work for you. And even this new system, it doesn't just have an HDMI port in the back, right?
No, so it's called the Analogue NT. $500 is a little bit insane, but considering what it is, it's actually somewhat reasonable. If you try to do
because you can buy components that do this on their own, kind of, for other things.
But at that point, you know, you're buying a Nintendo or a Famicom, then you're paying someone to mod it for RGB, then you're buying either an RGB monitor or something that will upscale and add scan lines to, you know, an HD TV. Mm-hmm. What this does is, yeah, if you add the HDMI attachment, which is another $49, it will take that RGB signal, that pure RGB signal out of the Analogue NT, it'll upscale it to either 720p or 1080p, and then it'll also generate scan lines to kind of replicate the look of an old CRT monitor. So Analogue is saying right now that
that's the company that's making
that's the company that's making this. It's pure, actually it just went up earlier this morning. They're saying that this is the best possible way that you can play Nintendo or Famicom games on an HD TV. So hopefully.
And with a system this expensive, you're going to want to pop in only gold cartridges, right?
I have a copy of Rockman 3 for Famicom sitting there ready to go. I have a copy of Castlevania 3.
Oh, it plays Famicom and NES games
Famicom
too,
and NES. It also has the Famicom expansion slot, so if you have a Famicom disk drive, you can plug that in as well.
Now, finally, I wanted to point out also that a lot of people out there are probably just getting ready to comment saying like, oh, well, I just have all these on Virtual Console, or I emulate all these games probably illegally. Well, we don't. We collect old cartridges and old games, so we're interested in stuff like this. And if you are too, leave a comment about it, because we love hearing about, you know, fellow collectors' stories and stuff like that. We have stacks of these things in our houses, and we're excited to see them look the best they can.
Yeah.
So thanks for checking this out, and for all your retro news, tune into IGN.com.